Okay, so today let's talk about a situation where you were triggered by something. So it could be like a specific situation, or it could be a situation that has a trigger that makes you feel nervous or anxious.
Well, I have a pretty long commute every day, and um, I drive on 71, and usually I get stuck in a considerable amount of traffic. Um, it bothers me that I'm wasting my time going back and forth that much, but yeah, I can feel myself getting pretty upset while I'm stuck in traffic, just sitting there.
Okay, so being stuck in traffic, are are there any thoughts that you have commonly when you're stuck in traffic?
I feel like wasting my time. I start to think about all the things I need to be getting done other than sitting in the car. Um, I worry about if I will be able to get out. Like if I'm in the car and then there's a semi truck and then there's like the wall right here,
Okay,
and of course there's a car in front of me and a car behind me. Then I start to feel trapped. Like
right.
I feel like tight in my chest.
Okay, that's definitely worth exploring. So when you're blocked in traffic, are there any kind of automatic thoughts that you have?
Um, I just start thinking like really intrusive thoughts about how, like somebody's gonna come up and hit the car behind me and then it's gonna slam me into the car, or that semi truck's gonna push me into the retaining wall, or, just
Okay,
things that I wouldn't be able to get out of the way because I'm trapped between all of those vehicles.
I understand that. Have you ever been in a situation where that's happened to you?
I was rear ended at a traffic light, and there were cars around us at that time, but it wasn't traffic, it was just a stoplight.
Okay. Have you ever been around where that's happened to somebody else, like specifically being stuck and trapped on the interstate and something bad happened?
Um, I'm sure I've heard about it on the news or something, but not anybody that I can think of closely.
Okay. So if you had to think, like, where would you say that your anxiety in that situation might come from?
Um, Not being in control.
Okay, very valid, right? Especially in a situation where I mean, people do get hurt on the interstate, right? Traffic can be very dangerous under certain circumstances. I'm just wondering if if your fear is something that you should really be that preoccupied with, like because I hear about situations where people do get hurt in like really congested traffic situations, but it's usually due to like ice or like fog where they can't see how far they are from the condensed traffic ahead of them. I'm wondering something if there's a different way that we can kind of reframe the way that you're thinking about the situation to try to eliminate some of that fear. So what could you potentially do? I'm just wondering if you really are trapped on the interstate. Like, what could you potentially do if you're feeling anxious in that situation to get out of it? Like, are you really trapped?
I guess I could physically leave my vehicle.
Right. So
But then
sometimes
that
that
would
could
be
be.
really dangerous because I might get hit by a car.
That's true. But I guess if you're in condensed traffic like that, the car would be moving super fast, right?
Probably not.
So, you know,
But then that's just going to delay me getting home because I got out of my vehicle.
right.
So maybe sometimes, it doesn't seem to bother me as much if if I call somebody and I talk to them on the phone. And it maybe because I'm not thinking about the traffic, maybe because I don't feel like I'm alone in the traffic. Or like, if I listen to music, as long as it's like not music that makes me angry.
Right.
Um,
So there's the frustration, and then there's the fear of not being able to get away, right? That causes the most anxiety. So in terms of loss of time, I mean, you mentioned a couple of good ways to deal with the feelings of like losing time. I wonder if there's anything that you could do to buy back some of that time while you're in the car. stuck in traffic?
Well, the time that I'm really more upset about losing is like I need to hurry up and get home so I can spend time with my daughter, and so I can get dinner done,
Right.
and get the house clean, do all this, do all that.
So I guess in worst case scenarios, absolutely worst case scenarios, because unless you've spent hours in traffic, right? In the worst case scenario, you could talk to her on the phone, right? And that might alleviate some of your anxiety.
Probably.
If you realize that the traffic is going to keep you from being able to like make dinner like you were talking about, what could you do while you're sitting in traffic?
DoorDash something.
Maybe
to the
DoorDash
house.
something, or get like a good
Or
idea
just a
for a
plan
recipe
together.
or something.
Yeah, just get I will say, like, it seems to be better since I have a different car and I can put it in like a cruise control mode where it'll it'll basically kind of drive itself with the traffic.
Right.
Because then I'm focused because I have to pay attention to the car, but I'm not fully immersed in having to deal with like watching the car in front of me and stop and go and stop and go. So yeah, in that situation, I could maybe use my phone and look up some recipes, or maybe make a list of the things that I need to do when I get home.
Yeah.
Or maybe call my husband and ask him if he would start doing some of those things.
Delegate. Yeah. You could absolutely delegate, right? Because you have a good support system that you can kind of lean on. So.
But I have an issue with control, so then I have to let go and believe that they're gonna clean it the way that I would want it, and they're gonna
Right.
make dinner the way that I would want it, or to the standard that I would want it.
I get that, but maybe a good exercise you could do is start trusting them to do a little bit more, so that you get a feeling of they do know how you want things done, and maybe you can see that they're competent enough to take care of that stuff.
Yeah, I guess I'd have to let them try some stuff to figure that out.
That's fair, right? Baby steps in that direction. I think you could work that out. So, in order to recap, right? We discussed the situation that causes you the most anxiety is being stuck and not being able to get away from a situation that you're in. So, the one that you brought up was being stuck in traffic because you feel like you're losing time, and because you feel that you might feel the need to get away and you feel kind of trapped.
Mm-hmm.
So we discussed a couple of things that you could do. One is trying to decide and determine if you really are trapped, and you admitted in the conversation that you're not actually trapped, you're just kind of feeling trapped, right? That you could get out of your car and take a step away from the situation. And then the other thing that we discussed was that you could, when you feel like you're losing time, you could contact somebody in your family to help get some of those things done that you feel anxious about getting done, whether it's like cooking dinner or cleaning out the house or whatever it is, right? And we talked about a couple of strategies that you can utilize to buy some of that time back.
So that would help me avoid the negative thinking pattern.
Right. Yeah, exactly. Because what we're after is those automatic thoughts, right? The thought of, oh man, I'm stuck in traffic, and then the automatic reaction of that anxiety starting to build up.
Yeah,
so.
And then I just think of every single thing that's going to be impacted after.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. So if you have a strategy going into the situation, right, hey, whenever I hit 71, I might be stuck in traffic, and if I am, I have a plan to deal with the ramifications on that day, right?
That works.
Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, perfect.
I can try it. I mean, it's not going to hurt anything.
Yeah, absolutely. And then you can, work on kind of delegating some of that stuff to your family and have them help out, and you can see that, they're able to help you out.
It's true.
Good stuff.